Right, welcome back to Beit Yehuan. We're going through some of Dawkins' teaching and illustrating the dangers involved in the teaching of this atheist thought mindset and this evolutionary thought mindset, which is not Darwin's thought mindset. Darwin was a humble man. Dawkins is an arrogant man. There is a world of difference. But also in Dawkins' teaching, there is great danger for mankind if we listen to it. So I'm just trying to send out that warning bell. Now listen to this. It is difficult to suppress subjective habits of thought when we are dealing with our own species. So I shall choose examples from other animals instead. I'm going to give some examples of apparently selfish and apparently altruistic behavior. Now, he's telling us that he's going to do a study which is going to show us why we as machines created by genes has to be ruthlessly selfish, because that's what we're created to be. He's already contradicted himself by saying, well, basically, it's not sure that we're going to act ruthlessly selfish. We can see altruistic behavior out there. But anyway, according to his theory, we are machines. Right? Mankind are not, let's say, human beings, loving, kind creatures. They are machines, okay? Now, he's calling our response to his arrogance and insulting attitudes, he's calling it subjective habits of thought. He's acting like as if to say what he's doing is objective. When he was looking at the penguins and analyzing their thoughts and their motives for jumping in or not jumping into the water, to him this is objective. Amen. But he has no idea what's going on in the head of a penguin. Okay, so now he's telling us, as a scientist, he's going to cover over his tracks by taking examples from the animal kingdom so that people don't get upset at him. But obviously it's clear that he doesn't mind to insult to a degree, but he's covering over his tracks because he knows that the teaching he's giving is extremely unacceptable. Now, let's go on to show some of the unacceptability of his teaching. We already mentioned the fact that he basically thinks that race distinctions in species are not important. Oh yeah, that's right. It's a selfish act to not share your wife with another. Okay? So that means to him an altruistic act is to share your wife. Let your wife sleep with someone else. This is Richard Dawkins' teaching. And he said he wants a world of altruism and generosity, where we can all share one another's wives. Is that what Dawkins is saying? I wonder what his wife thinks about what he is saying. Now, we continue with some of the dangers of this man's teaching. I'll just mention that again, that stuff about the wife. More ordinary, selfish behavior may simply consist of refusing to share some valued resource, such as food, territory, or sexual partners. Amen. Sexual partners in the Christian world is a wife. You don't have sex with somebody else. So he's saying that, well, if we don't refuse to share our sexual partners, let someone else have them, then we are being selfish. I mean, yes, selfish. And he wants an altruistic world, which is the opposite of selfishness. Now, let's continue. Here's one of his plagiarisms. Laying down one's life for one's friend is obviously altruistic, but so also is taking a slight risk for them. Now, laying down one's life for one's friend, he's quoting the Bible. He's quoting Jesus Christ. Jesus said, greater love had no man than this, than that he lay down his life for his friend. The man has not credited Jesus Christ with the statement. So this guy who's doing the selfish gene here and the God delusion there, citing the Bible, plagiarizing the Bible, and not giving credit to the source. It was Jesus Christ who said, it is great that no man hath greater love than this, that he laid down his life for his friends. Okay, next thing I wanted to draw your attention to. I'm not trying to make a point by telling stories. Chosen examples are never serious evidence for any worthwhile generalization. Now, if this is the case, why does he spend half his time telling stories as if to say they make a point? I am not trying to make a point by telling stories. What does he say up here? I am going to give some examples of apparently selfish and altruistic behavior. It is difficult to suppress subjective habits of thought when we are dealing with our own species, so I shall choose examples from other animals instead. First, some miscellaneous examples of selfish behavior by individual animals. Why is he doing this? He's doing this so that we can understand the meaning and the definition of selfish and altruistic behavior. In actual fact, he's doing it to make a point. Okay, but anyway, that's not the story. We'll go on. Chosen examples are never serious evidence for any worthwhile generalization. These stories are simply intended as illustrations of what I mean by altruistic and selfish behavior at the level of individuals. This book will show how both individual selfishness and individual altruism are explained by the fundamental law that I am calling gene selfishness. Except for one thing. We are machines, so that gene selfishness should be 100%. It is not. I've already shown it. Okay, page 7. I showed that through all the martyrdoms of all the Christians who died, giving their lives for the sake of the kingdom of Jesus Christ. Next point. Perpetuation of the species is a common euphemism for reproduction, and it is undeniably a consequence of reproduction. It requires only a slight overstretching of logic to deduce that the function of reproduction is to perpetuate the species. From this, it is but a further short false step to conclude that animals will in general behave in such a way as to favor the perpetuation of the species. Altruism towards fellow members of the species seems to follow. If perpetuation of the species is not a function of reproduction, what is it? And why is it a false step? He has shown some of his arrogance towards other evolutionists here, making out like this kind of Nobel Prize winner is stupid. You know, he just says that he speaks in a religious language, talking about orthodox Darwinian theory. He insults the Nuffield Guide, and the Nobel Prize winner here, Konrad Lorenz, on aggression, speaks of species-preserving functions of aggressive behavior, one of these functions being to make sure that only the fittest individuals are allowed to breed. This is a gem of a circular argument, but the point I am making is that the group selection idea is so deeply ingrained that Lorenz has, like the author of the Nuffield Guide, evidently did not realize that his statements contravene orthodox Darwinian theory. Orthodox Darwinian theory? This is a religion. The man is propounding a religion. You have Orthodox Jews, and you have Reconstructionist Jews, and you have Reformed Jews. You have Orthodox Christians, you have Catholic Christians, you have Protestant Christians. The man is preaching a religion, and yet he's claiming to be scientist. But if you contravene Orthodox Darwinian theory, you come under his spotlight, we could say. The citizens of Britain may or may not be blessed with foresight, but evolution is blind to the future. Although the group selection theory now commands little support within the ranks of professional biologists who understand evolution. Now, look at that. He's acting like he's talking like Konrad Lorenz because he disagrees with Darwin's orthodox Darwinian theory, is not a professional biologist, and more so, or even if he's not saying that, he's saying he does not understand evolution. Now, this is a guy who won the Nobel Prize, Konrad Lorenz, and according to this guy, Dawkins, the guy does not understand evolution. No, I'm not in agreement with either of these guys because they both need to come to the truth. Yeah, the Darwinian mythology behind the Darwinian orthodox theory, or the orthodox Darwinian theory, it's also nothing to do with Darwin. Darwin was a Christian, Never forget that, or at least a theist.